What's going on, guys, and welcome to my video. I'm going to be reacting to the ban list that's just been dropped a few minutes ago. It gives away a little bit in the title, Elechic to Tartarus, so I'm assuming Elechic has been completely banned rather than limited now, which is pretty good. I'm glad that that's gone for a start. It makes other decks a bit more consistent, because that Elechic searching for a Zeus or Demeter, it was extremely strong, being a 7 attacker straight out the gate. It's just overpowered. Attack is always going to be superior to defense in this game. But let's see what else he bans or limits, etc. And if anything has come free.
Time for us to send our little bird friend Elechic straight to Tartarus.
Yeah,
let's take a look.
Straight away stays banned.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is officially time for a brand new banned and restricted list headed into the Divine Champions Firestorm.
To be honest, I don't think it's a good idea to have released a ban list just before Firestorm is playable and legal to be played in tournaments. I think we should have given at least 2 tournaments worth with the current list that we have, and then go ahead and ban things. Because things like Elechic is really important because we want our Divines out. So having to play other cards like Plucky is the other generic searcher, which is really decent for defense, being a 4, is kind of the only other option, and not a lot of decks run a solar package, so having just 1 solar spirit to run 3 Plucky to search for your divine just feels really bad. But we'll see what else
format
is hit.
Coming out on June 1st.
This
video is going to detail all of the changes that you guys can expect
to
both bans and limits moving forward, and I'm very optimistic that these changes are going to be very positive for the game of Alestrals. Before I dive into that, though, I want to give a big shout out to Cobalt Sanderson for their big W over the final
congrats on him with Celestio.
And ultimately the first person to lock in their invitation and secure their spot to the World Championships for Alestrals.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. The World Championships in air quotes going to be in America, so it didn't really affect anyone in Europe.
From Lunar Aggro to the Argo package of photosynthesis from Bo, to seeing Winjin and Tornajin dominate, with even Celestia taking the final spot of our last Moonrise premiere. The metagame was diverse, it was evolving, and I think a lot of us could agree that it was never even truly solved. As
I kind of want to skip ahead, but I also don't want to skip ahead.
At even the very end
of I don't want to like spoil things for myself.
To the next few weeks and the Firestorm format lighting and igniting
Majesty
the
going to be broken.
Alestrals community, it is an exciting time as there are so many amazing possibilities to be explored, and I can't wait to see you guys throw down at your local game stores and in our next upcoming premiere event on June 7th. So make sure you guys sign up for that.
June 7th is the next tournament. I'm hopefully been able to sign up for it. I'm not 100% sure whether I can play or not.
June 1st, and of course,
it's kind of annoying.
Upcoming premiere event on the 7th. The first card that we are going to be announcing today, which I alluded to in the introduction of this video, is we are indeed sending Elechic to Tartarus. That is right, Elechic will now be banned from Alestrals. Previously limited to 1 copy, this card will be moving to the ban.
Good. A 4-1 attacker is just so strong in the game, especially when you're searching for, like I say, Zeus, which -3s your opponent, or Demeter, which +3s yourself. It just makes it incredibly broken, having an attacker that searches for a divine that strong.
And I want to be very upfront, this has been in the plans for quite a few months now, actually. Going back 6+ months, we've been intending to make this move.
It's sort of similar to how the new champion Valkyries is going to be quite strong, searching for the likes of Cypher Demeter, because that just makes the Valkyries a 6/5, which is quite strong and can potentially heal every turn, which is really good. Artifacts are going to be quite a strong deck. I'm working on the video for it currently.
Is the perfect opportunity to do so. There have been some significant shifts in design philosophy since Elechic was originally written back in 2022 as a generic divine searcher, and we've been able to quickly identify its power level when combined with cards like Demeter and Zeus,
exactly,
and the need
just
for
what I
more
said.
specific
Makes
divine
it too
searchers.
strong.
So moving forward, over the course of the Divine Champion sets, you're going to see new divine searchers for each of the divine runes, and you see that in Firestorm with cards like Torchin, Champion of Hestia. You've also got cards like Spy Nymph, Champion of Hermes, Sorlet, Champion of Aelith. These various cards are being introduced into the game to provide element-specific
it makes sense to have
searchers,
in-element searchers rather than generic.
And Elechic at a 4 attack stat is
bit like
simply too strong in the game right now to exist. So we are going to be moving it to Tartarus. And even though I wasn't sure I was going to do this, we will be ultimately producing an Elechic Escape from Tartarus.
So when you cast this Electric, you can target a Divine in your Underworld. See, that's pretty good. That as an effect is amazing, especially on a 3/1. That's not broken, and it grabs a Divine back. It's really, really good. I like that because we have very little adding cards from Underworld back to hand or to deck. So that, as an effect, is
Version coming
really,
out
really
most
nice.
likely alongside set 7.
I
I've
so
got
hope
kind of
that we
some
get
tentative
more Escape
effects
from
right now,
Tartarus
but we'll be
stuff that
testing
we
that
can run as an
alongside set
Escape
7
from Tartarus
and
deck.
introducing a new Escape from
That'd
Tartarus
be cool.
card. I have said that not every card that ends up on the ban list will get an Escape from Tartarus card, but I feel like we might as well make one for this. It'll
Well,
be a
so
lot
far,
of
but
fun,
yeah,
and maybe one day
this
there
is
will
free
be an
for free.
Escape from
So
Tartarus archetype if we keep sending cards to Tartarus this way. So just to recap, Electric going to Tartarus, primarily because its power usage alongside cards like Zeus and Demeter,
yeah, just
but
too
also
strong.
its generic Divine Search has allowed for players to kind of pigeonhole their deck making into certain ways. Plucky will provide the same effect, but
See, Plucky has the same effect, but it's for defense. You have to play it in defense. So Eddie kills you. Obviously, Eddie kills Chick, but you're not outing anything that they play. You can out a few things with 3 or less defense or 3 or less attack at this point. So it's one of them things.
on a lower stat at Alestral with only 1 attack, which is a little bit more beneficial, and we'll continue to introduce Divine-specific searchers
And
over
then
the
Divine
next couple
specific
sets,
is
so that every
better than
Divine, or
generic.
pretty much every
100%.
Divine, will receive their own specific searcher to allow their archetypes to evolve and these combo decks to evolve without just slapping down an Electric and being able to get whatever you want. The next card we are announcing is a limit to 1 copy per deck, and that is none other than Rise from the Ashes.
See, that hurts. That does hurt the deck, Blizztrix, because you can't rise whatever you want back. Having that one-off rise to hand
Seems
sucks.
kind of funny since Cobalt Sanderson just won this event, utilizing Rise from the Ashes and Celestlio, but these plans were in place now for quite a few weeks as we've been looking at Rise from the Ashes in the context of a handful of other decks, specifically Blizztrix, and a desire to reduce that power level.
But Blizztrix hasn't been doing well. It's got 2nd place with Jack, I believe. Yeah, it can go fairly undefeated, but I still don't think Rise is a problem. It's a 3-cost card that plays something in attack, and you still got to pay for the spirits on the guy.
The deck or the archetype, and that's
I
really
don't
what this limit
think
is
I agree with
ultimately
this.
about. By limiting Rise to 1, you're essentially...
I know some people are going to be really happy with that, but I just don't think it's worth doing.
Rather, you're going to have to utilize
it's an expensive card to play. That's the thing.
To be able to generate these advantages from your underworld, and Rise from the Ashes has proven itself.
Because otherwise, we've got very little underworld cards. I mean, we've got Rise from the Depths, a 1-cost that brings back basically either 2 of the healers for water, or you can just get a Galaxy out or something like that.
And the most swingy cards in the game, so we're going to be limiting it to 1 copy and continuing to monitor it over the coming sets.
I don't know. We'll see. I expected a Blizztrix limit, to be honest, rather than Rise.
At the current state of the game, we felt that it was just far too swingy, especially combined in strategies like Blizztrix, which are going to be getting support through Hermes.
But Hermes is a bad card for Blizztrix!
The underworld very freely.
Why do people keep thinking Hermes is amazing with Blizztrix? It's not. And then that Celestlio and Cobalt, that's just a random one-off.
Like Co-Magma and Golden Apple of Discord to pitch one of the strongest Celestials into the game to the underworld and then simply bring it back with Rise. So we believe that this limit is going to help a lot of other game plans.
It's not. It's really not.
Consistency and not have the tables flipped on them so incredibly fast from these really powerful 3-drops.
But then there are other cards that can do similar things. Like I said, Rise from the Depths, being a 1-cost that brings back a water. Once you've got Atlantis in play, it's just... I think that's stronger in some ways.
That is actually it for our banned and limited list for this segment here. We've been spending a lot of time deliberating.
So that was
excited to announce
Chicken
we've actually
Rise.
formed an internal team of some of the best players, and now we're entering to continue our transparency moving forward. Tend to think, it's best to kind of keep our hands away, but we still are going with a more proactive approach if we feel that it's needed, and we're going to continue to monitor the situation as it goes. There's a handful of cards on our radar that we're continuing to test, and even though they may not have appeared on this list, they may appear in a future list, just as there's cards on the list right now that may come off the list in the future. We're going to continue to take in your feedback and use our internal testing tools to make the best decisions for Alestrals moving forward. Now, I do want to say I saw a lot of buzz in the community.
The problem is... Their internal testing so far, from what I understand it from others, is they go by the limit list at the time. So Frostfall and Daybreak didn't take into account Earthquake to 1, Laurels to 1, Lava Lifter one sort of thing, or Chick. So all of Moonrise, Firestorm, and then the next set will have been playtested to hell with the list with previous list, and not this Rise limit and the Chick band. So this is going to really mess with card balancing unless he fixes the card balancing for the next set.
Or restricting some of the core staple.
No, don't do that. Just because one group of people want to ban these cards for quote-unquote deck diversity, when the deck diversity was different decks in top 8, all different decks, none were the same, except for maybe 2 of the Penterras. No.
In the game.
Doing that is just ridiculous.
And so on and so forth. But I do want to say that I think it's really important that Alestros has new cards added to the card pool that can fill some of those slots before we start.
Yeah, but nothing can fill Gorgon's Gaze. Gorgon's Gaze is just so overly powerful that it's a staple in every deck. It's a bit like playing Professor's Research in a Pokemon deck, or Ash Blossom in Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff like that. It's one of them cards that you just add 3 copies straight to your deck.
It has an incredibly kind of ripple effect on the rest of the game. That is a very load-bearing card right now. So if there's no other cards in the game that have a negate effect, or can stop something on a chain, or suppress something, or prevent something from ascending, or whatever.
The problem is with any other card that negates is very element specific. You look at Chains of Prometheus. It costs 2 fire. No, not many people run fire. Even in fire decks, they don't run chains because it's so limiting. If it was a quick effect from hand, like a counter rune that could be played from hand, if a counter rune is played, then yeah, sure, it would make sense. But because it has to be set, it's really bad.
Maybe that Gorgons does, it creates a big void, and I think it's going to actually get out of hand pretty quickly. But the existing list.
So this is the list currently. Okay, so those banned, that's fine. Chick been new. Viscerus, base set Viscerus, it's fine at 2. The new Viscerus, you can add a copy of that in, so that's fine. Resting, Earthquake, keeping at 1, good. Echolinks at 1, that's fine. Arcalyph, I understand. Lavalith at 1, yeah, I get it. Maybe even ban that. Could be viable. Rise Limit, I don't feel like that's helped or hindered. I think it slows Blizzard down a little bit. I can't do my Cryoscope Rise play now, which really sucks. But I'll see what I can do to maybe change that. I don't know what I could put in for 2 copies of Rise. But I'll think of something. Ferrageist, yeah, we understand that the Moonrise cards were so broken, and they just didn't think ahead in time, and that's why Ferrageist got fucking limited. Race to the Top, it was broken because Thunder was so fucking broken at the time, and Thunder still is kind of broken, so a limit to 1, it's fine. If other cards had more defense than the majority of Thunders, it wouldn't be a problem. And now with Chick banned, I think Race to the Top could come off the list, personally.
Still staying in place, but again,
I think it would be fine.
Starter decks are always legal if they are
unmodified. So but yeah, if you're playing the Zeus starter deck, you can play 2 Chick, so, you know, broken deck.
I always welcome that.
And that's basically it. So, my overall thoughts on that. Chick being banned, good. I've been saying that since Sparkit got banned. I said the main problem was Elachick was the problem, not Sparkit. Yes, hand rips suck, but if you could just Chick turn 1, Sparkit turn 2 with your Zeus, that's broken. And you'd have 3 Chicks at the time. So Chick was always been the problem card. And it's taken, what, nearly 6-7 months since that video? Maybe longer, for Chick to finally get banned. And to all the people that said Chick wasn't a problem, screw you, obviously is, because it's banned now. So, after all that, get fucked.